Welcome guys to this new video about LizaJuice. In this video I'll explain many things that you can do to customize your LizaJuice, and therefore we go a bit deeper into the architecture and how it works. I hope this is going to be clear and short. I'll try not to ramble too much because there is many points that I want to touch and show you how it works. So let's start with the excuse that we want to change the initial logo of LizaJuice, putting our own logo. The best way I found, and I love this way, is to install LaserBoy. LaserBoy is a program created by James Lehman, and you can go to laserboy.org and download it by clicking to LaserBoy logo here, text, and you can download it and unzip it. I already done it on my computer. If you go into the place where you downloaded it and you unzip it, I already put it in my application folder here on the Mac, but you can do it for Windows. It works for every operative system, including Linux. So you can go here, and in the doc it is explained how you can compile your LizaJuice. So there is a lot, your LaserBoy, sorry. So you can go through the steps here. If you're not familiar with all these commands, it's not so difficult, but you might need to have a kind of more nerdy friends helping you. But it's very easy. You have to install Brew, which is a software that allows you to download packages and install and compile LaserBoy. So once you have LaserBoy compiled on your system, here I have it on Mac, I can open LaserBoy by going into the directory. So now I am going into LaserBoy. I go into the application, then LaserBoy. And then I have to run LaserBoy OS X. When I do this, LaserBoy opens up, and it's a different type of software because it doesn't require the use of mouse, and mostly you can access inside LaserBoy just with the type of a command, a key on your keyboard. And this is explained here. So we can play ESC to escape, to continue. And LaserBoy does 1,000 things, and among which the most important for me is to convert types of files. So I can convert text into audio, or SVGs, which is vectorial files in the form of DXF files. So you might need, for example, Inkscape to convert your SVG to DXF, and then the DXF can be converted to audio or to ILDA, or from ILDA, that is the typical laser format, to audio and other formats. So it's a very useful software to convert types of files. So what I need mostly is input output. So I have two keys, I and O. In this case I want to input something, so I press I, and I can choose which type of file I want to input. So I have ILDA, DXF, WAV, text, bitmaps also, and other types of files. In general, I use just DXF, WAV, text, ILDA. So the first ones are the most common for me, but you can put your own bitmap. And LaserBoy is very useful because it also can optimize your files. So when your points in your files are in a random order, let's say, it can simplify your shape and reorder the trajectory of your laser so that your laser can have a better, easier path to follow while drawing, because otherwise it can be messy when you draw a simple SVG for a digital rendering. So now I want to input a text file, for example. I press 4, and now I have a list of text files that I can access inside. These are just the text files inside my LaserBoy folder. So if I go here, I have all these type of folders where the files are taken and created. So if I go to the text, I see exactly the same list that I have here. So LaserBoy tells me where they are. It's easier to put your text file already in here instead of going around your computer with LaserBoy, but you probably can do that. Anyway, I have my text file called text Liza. This is a simple text file. There are several examples. If you open the text.txt, has several examples of how you can format your text, change font, change dimension, spacing, etc. I made the simplest one here. All these hashtags are comments, so the software is not reading them. So this is basically just a lot of information for human. But basically my text is love. If you wanna do the same, you can take these text files that comes with LaserBoy and erase all the parts that are not commented and just take the first uncommented line and change it. So this is gonna be probably, let me find it. It's gonna be here. This is the first single line, blah blah. So you can erase everything after this line and write what you want inside here to render as laser. Now, that's also the point. Lasers tend to have a hard time drawing letters because letters have sharp angles like L or V or E. And then, so the easier is to use a small number of letters. I would suggest 4 or 5 based on my experience, and chain them. So make different wave files, different files. Now we're gonna use wave because LizaJuice use waves. So we're gonna transform this text into audio. That makes it easier to chain them. So you can write, for example, I hate my government, and I would chop it as I hate, this can be shown all at once, my government, for example, or you can even cut it as government. So I don't know, you have to be creative the way you use it, because very often your laser is limited depending on your scanner speed, on how many letters can display, and of course this depends on the angle, on the speed of your galvos. I will talk about this later. Anyway, now we have to choose this text, so we type the text liza.txt, that's it, and then LaserBoy asks us what we want to do. I would just say we replace the frame set. This considers that maybe you have some other frames before. I suggest you read information about LaserBoy so you understand how it works, or you can ask James Lehman, who is a great guy. There is an email in the initial page of LaserBoy down in the bottom, and he's very helpful all the time. I cannot stop praising him for his work and how kind he is with me. So I press 1. And now it tells me that there is one frame. I have to press another key to continue, so I press enter. And now already LaserBoy shows me behind the menu what I want my frame. So it's love. Now I want to output this, so I go into O. I type O on my keyboard, and I can choose what I want. In this case, I want a wave, so I type 3. And now I want an optimized, so playable. This is optimized, so there is an internal software that checks the points of your laser and simplifies the shapes to help your galvos go faster. And I can choose two wave of current frame for 10 seconds. So number 2, I press number 2. He wants me to choose a name. In this case, I choose file.wav, and I have, oops, file.wave, and then this wave is already present, as you see here, so it's gonna ask me if I want to overwrite it, and I say yes. In case you don't need to overwrite it, then it will not ask you that, of course. That's it. So now, if I am lucky, I can look in my folder here, and I have to go into this wave folder and this XY RGB, because this is audio that is being created, and I have a file .wave that I just created from my text love. So I can close LaserBoy, thank you LaserBoy for all this, and go to my folder here, where I have the patch 0, just to try to see. In reality, what I can do, I can use the WaveVisualizer that I will distribute it to you, so you can check this file. I can put it here. Oops. What I have to do is I can delete these guys and take my file and put it here and open the file visualizer. I call it 5-channel player with speed. If you, so this is already showing me the output. Okay, now my file, if you see, if I open with full speed, is a little bit distorted. This is because my laser has a little trouble drawing all the letters the way I would love. And so I can reduce the speed on my reader here and find the speed that draws my message the best, the way I like it. So in this case, this is it. More or less is at 60. If you find that your Galvos are struggling and you find a better value here, of course the things start flickering because you're going slower with your Galvo. So you have to adjust this with a trade-off between having a fixed image and distorted and having a clear image but flickering. Flickering is different in the camera and in the real eye, because the camera has a different sample frequency. Your real eye doesn't have a sample frequency, as a persistent of vision, so it's a different phenomena, but it doesn't matter. You adjust this value the way you want it, the way you like it, and once you find this value, for example here, let's say I like 35, I can substitute it here, 35, and whenever this patch starts, it will be displaying 35. Okay, it will be just starting with 35, and it will be the speed that you chose. This is a patch that if you don't have, you can download it, and will be released as the reading patch, the patch number 0, in the new distribution of the OS system for LizaJuice that is going to come out soon, in the next weeks, maybe next week or maybe the week after. So if you have a wave player that is this guy, if you open the patch one day and you see this guy is the old operative system, but the new operative system will have this one that has the speed adjustment, so you can decide how fast your logo is displayed based on your Galvos. Okay, so this will be patch number 0 here. I will put it, I will upload it on LizaJuice. And this patch, I have to say also this, sorry. It's important to say that this patch now, the visualizer shows you what you're seeing. It's a kind of simulation of what you see in the laser, okay, on this window. And when I will put it as a patch, of course, we don't need the simulation to take away power from our Raspberry Pi, so I will take away the visualizer that is down here. So this will not be present and will just be this. Okay, so this is the new patch that is gonna be there. Now, how do I upload this file that I tested and decided on my LizaJuice? Okay, this is pretty easy. I have to go here. You can connect to LizaJuice with your phone or with your computer. And if you don't know how to connect, it's explained in the LizaJuice manual. So hotspot, you have to choose Liza. This is the network, and then enter the password LizaJuice the first time you connect. Of course, there is a bit of settings if you want. This is if you want to connect and control with your phone. There is some setting how to do this. Now I want to connect to LizaJuice to transfer files. So there are 3 possible ways to connect to LizaJuice. One more nerdy and one more intuitive. Okay, so 2 more intuitive. Okay, so the first one, I use my terminal again. For whoever doesn't know where is terminal, sorry, I should have said it before, you go into the applications, utilities, and then there is something here called terminal, and you can open it from there. Okay, if I go to Liza, once I'm connected to the password, to the network, I can type this command, sudo sshpi@raspberrypi.local. Asks me a password of my computer. This is your Mac password to install softwares or to connect. Now I have the credential, so my credentials are pi. Oh, sorry. The credential is Liza. These are the credentials. If you're asked who is the user, is pi, and the password is Liza. So now I am inside LizaJuice. I can see the folders. I can CD, so I can move to patchers. Whoever knows a little bit of Linux commands knows what to do here. I can substitute patches, I can copy, delete, I can do many things. Okay, so this is the more nerdy way. Okay, but there are easier ways. So for example, one thing I can do is go here to Finder, go and connect to server. All this information will be put on a website. Here I have already my servers that I can connect to. You can type, pay attention at the capital letters is important. Okay, and you can connect, or you can type the address, which is 10.42.0.1 is the same thing, and I can connect. So now it's asking me the credentials, so I have to type pi and then Liza, capital Liza, and I want it to remember, so I have it for the next time. Now I can connect, and bam. Now I am accessing LizaJuice from inside. So I have the same folder structure. I can see there are many things, and the main important is this, patchers. This is where Liza, when she starts, goes looking for your patchers. This is also where you can modify your patches. So for example, some of yours told me, I have slow Galvos. I cannot display correctly the figures because they start being distorted. So here is a good way to modify your patches. You can open patch number 1. You go into double oscillator. This is MIDI and controls. This you usually don't need your patches here. And here you have a number which is 30. This is the sample frequency of LizaJuice. If you need to change something, you can edit your patch pressing Command E on pure data. You see there is edit here. I can unedit or edit by pressing Control E or Command E, and I can change the number to 25, and now my patch will start much slower for my Galvo's happiness. Okay, I can do the same in 2. I go same thing, the polygon patch, so I go into polygon, I double click or click, and then my phaser has the speed here. So I can change here, instead of 30, I can put 25 or 20, depending how slow my Galvos are. And I can do it again to patch number 3. Okay, and I can change it here, solid. I can change here, instead of 25, I can change something else. I can put 20, for example. Okay, voila. So this is how you change your Galvo speed. But if you want to change your file, you have to go here and copy and paste your new file that you just created from LaserBoy. Remember to keep the same name, file.wave, because in the first patch, Liza will look for file.wave. And you can access the patch and change the speed internally, so you have also a slower reading speed, the same reading speed that you have set in your initial example here. So this reading speed here, you change this number here in the patch inside Liza, so you have exactly the same speed. Well, I want to tell you something about this. So Liza uses wave files. That means that you can go quite high in frequency. That means that your Galvo system inside your laser can be stressed and overheat. When you see that your shapes are shrinking or your corners are not sharp but round, that means that your Galvos are stressed and are tired of working so hard to make these corners. And because Galvos don't like corners, they like smooth shapes, round shapes. So beware when this happens, watch out, know your laser, because this depends on many factors that are difficult to explain or to prevent. It depends on how big is your size, it depends on how many corners you have, it depends on how complex is your shape in general. So the best thing that I learned by myself, and I never burn a Galvo in 15 years that I use lasers, is just to observe when my shape start deforming and shrink. When that happens, it doesn't mean that the Galvos are breaking. It just means they are starting to have hard time. So don't let them have a hard time for too long, because it might break your Galvos. So always, when you switch on a laser, also for security reason, but also for your Galvos and for your money, be there all the time. Watch your laser, what it's doing. And if you want to go to another room to do something, just switch off your laser and go to the other room. It's a good practice, okay? Okay, so enough of mama talk. Now we can go to applications, and I show you the third way to use to connect to Liza, and it's through the VNC viewer. It's a software that you can download for free. VNC viewer can be open, and you can access a server by typing here the name of the server. Here I have it already saved, and this 10.42.0.1. This opens immediately to me. Probably it would ask you some credentials in general case, but the credentials are the same, so it's Pi and Liza, whatever you call it. And here you see the first patch. This is the patch that is running on LizaJuice, and this is what is running, and I can change here. If I press Command E, I can edit mode and change my number from here. So this is the more intuitive way to change information from inside LizaJuice and modify your patches from the inside. Here you can save your patches. You can also access the folders of Liza. So you can go to patchers, and here you can add new patches, take away patches, change the whole architecture. I suggest you don't go and try to change the whole system, because there is Python running, other softwares that are doing many things. So you do that only if you know what you're doing. Especially don't change this main IO patch unless you are sure of what you're doing, because this is displaying, sending messages. This is the main patch that runs LizaJuice. But these are your patches that you can alter and modify. Okay, so this is again a way to work with LizaJuice. I'm sure actually in the next tutorial I will tell you how to build patches, how it works with audio, how these things are created and work. Okay, one thing that I forgot to mention is maybe, this is a visualizer that outputs through the laser, so I can check my laser through the audio channels that have to be set here. You see, so this you have to set your audio card. If you want to test from your sound card, you can try these numbers. Otherwise, this is a visualizer that has an internal visualizer, that is this guy, or you can output through your sound card through this. You have to set in your audio setup preferences. In the preferences audio tab, you have to set your sound card. Input output channels is important, because otherwise it takes only 2x4 as a default. And here you have to, in the edit mode, change the number of your channels correctly. In my case, my Motu sound card wants 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because I take it from the back. But you have to edit this number according to your sound card numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever it is. Okay. There is one more thing maybe I want to show you. I forgot. So what we can do is, if you want to change your sound file for some reason, or add other files to concatenate your sound file, especially if you made, for example, 3 files that say I love you Liza, for example. Okay, so you have an option that is again a free software. I love free softwares. So you can open in Audacity. Audacity allows you to edit your sound files, because what you have now created in LaserBoy is 5-channel sound files. So these 5 channels are audio, are X, Y, so horizontal, vertical, RGB. Okay, so you can do many things here. For example, you can, let's do an inversion, for example. So here I can invert, bang, and then I invert also the Y. In general, it's not a good idea for text, but it's just to show you what I can do. Okay, so now I inverted these 2 channels, and I can also add other channels after. So for example, supposedly that I have another wave file that I created with LaserBoy, and I want to put it here after this. So I export one whole file that will be my main file to display text that shows 3 parts. Then I have to import it here, copy paste, the usual blah blah blah. You can learn Audacity. And then the important thing is, when you export the audio, it's not just an audio export. You have to choose custom mapping, because what you have is not a mono, it's not a stereo, but is a 5-channel project. So here you have to configure. In general, it's already configured in a smart way, so you have first channel to channel 1, second to second, third to third. So you have 6 channels out of 6 channels. Sorry, before I said 5 because usually lasers work with 5, but LaserBoy uses 6 because there is also a blanking. Doesn't matter. You have 6 channels, one after the other, okay? So in this case, you say yes, and then you export your file to desktop, and bam, you have your file, 5-channel file that you can just copy paste inside here. Let's do it so we see it. Bam, I replace it, and now if I open it, yeah, I see that this is reversed in X and Y as expected. I think at this point I covered all that I wanted to cover, and I remain available for all the questions and all the information that you want to ask, better on the Discord that has that shares all the information to everybody, of course. Here I see also the Pi that showed up after connecting from before. Okay, this is how you find it. In Windows there is another way. I don't know, I don't have Windows here to show you, but I'm sure it's very similar. You can look on Google how to connect to an external server, and it's the same credential. You have to put the address. It's a Samba server, so you have to use this commands, and then these are the credentials. Or use VNC Viewer that probably works across platforms and is free. Thank you so much. See you in the next tutorial.